Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective?
Strap in, because the confrontation no one expected, but everyone secretly hoped for, has exploded on live television. Years of mounting tension, thinly veiled contempt, and media mockery reached a fever pitch as Karoline Leavitt, a poised, an unflinching conservative powerhouse, took a seat at the infamous table of The View. And unlike countless guests before her, she didn't flinch, didn't falter, and certainly didn't fold under pressure. Instead, she met the moment head-on, dismantling the smug veneer of the show's longtime hosts, exposing the ideological echo chamber for what it really was, and leaving Whoopi Goldberg, Behar, and company speechless on their own turf. The moment she entered the set, Leavitt made it clear this would not be business as usual. This wasn't a perfunctory guest spot, and she wasn't there for pleasantries. She was there to say what millions have thought for years, that The View, once considered a platform for diverse voices,
Or is this more the same of, everybody's against me?
had devolved into a smug, left-leaning circle of contempt, eager to ridicule rather than reflect. Whoopi Goldberg, as expected, tried to deflect, tried to bluster through with sarcastic eye rolls and her usual barrage of interruptions. But Leavitt didn't play along. Her voice was firm, her words sharper than any retort the hosts could muster. And when she said the panel was wildly out of touch with the majority of Americans, you could see the shock ripple across the room. This wasn't just a clash of politics, it was an on-air detonation. Behar, with her signature venom barely veiled by faux humor, took the first real shot, launching into a jab that dripped with condescension. But Leavitt didn't blink. She snapped back with clarity, asking why successful conservative women are reduced to their looks or dismissed entirely on shows like this. "You sit up here preaching about women's empowerment," she said, locking eyes with the panel.
"I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for."
I am stating.
But the second a conservative woman finds success, you chalk it up to her looks. That's your definition of empowerment? Silence. No retort. No witty comeback. For once, the table that prided itself on having the last word had nothing, and it was just getting started. Leavitt came armed not just with opinions, but with credentials that demanded respect regardless of political alignment. A college graduate, a political reporter, a congressional candidate, and the youngest press secretary in White House history, all by the age of 27. While the hosts tried to paint her as inexperienced or unworthy, she calmly corrected the record. No binder fumbles, no evasion, just straight, unfiltered rebuttals. She outlined the failures of the current administration, speaking on everything from border control to inflation, from educational decay to media bias. Every point backed up, every statement deliberate. Meanwhile, Whoopi Goldberg, the show's longtime anchor and self-styled conscience, stumbled.
Facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now, as
I'm
for
sorry,
this
guys.
debate,
We're going to come back out to the
expectation
panel. Caroline?
Her expressions, once commanding, now felt reactionary. She interrupted, only to be outpaced. She smirked, only to be skewered by facts. When Karoline spoke about the indoctrination of young Americans and the decay of educational integrity, Whoopi defaulted to sarcasm. "Oh, so now wokeness is the problem?" she scoffed. Karoline responded with a chilling calm. "Without that, wokeness, you might not have that job." A pin could have dropped on the set. It was a verbal submission hold, and Whoopi didn't even try to escape it. And then came the segment's climax. As Whoopi attempted one last pivot to discredit Leavitt's presence, suggesting she was only on the show because of her appearance or connections, Karoline delivered the final blow. Is that where we are now? Smart, successful women can't be taken seriously unless they're liberal? Is that really the world you want your viewers to believe in? The question was not rhetorical. It was damning. The hosts, known for hijacking conversations and tag-teaming guests into submission, felt uncharacteristically
So it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
quiet. Backstage, producers scrambled. ABC executives, according to reports, were livid. The plan, as it so often is when conservative guests appear, was likely to frame Karoline as extreme or naive. Instead, they had inadvertently handed her a national platform and a viral moment. Social media exploded. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all ablaze with clips of the confrontation. Hashtags like Whoopi exposed, Darm View owned, and Karoline unleashed. shot to the top. But it wasn't just conservatives cheering. Moderates, centrists, even apolitical viewers weighed in. Many saw through the performance that had defined The View for years, realizing just how fragile it all looked when challenged, with unwavering truth. Meanwhile, Leavitt didn't just handle the moment, she owned it. Even while heavily pregnant and adjusting to new motherhood, she never wavered.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear.
She radiated poise while facing a gauntlet of derision disguised as dialogue. And the public saw it all. More importantly, they believed it. Because for the first time in a long time, someone sat at that table and didn't cower, didn't apologize, didn't shrink themselves to fit into the script. The ripple effects inside ABC were immediate. Executives reportedly entered full-scale crisis mode. Behind closed doors, calls were made, segments reviewed, PR strategies scrambled together. The next day, Whoopi was absent. No warning, no explanation. Just a vague statement about taking time to reflect on how a young political outsider walked into your studio and dismantled your show in real time. Viewers noticed. Sponsors noticed. Some pulled back, some paused campaigns. Internally, ABC faced a brutal dilemma. Double down on the format that had once drawn millions but was now drawing scrutiny? Or clean house and try to salvage whatever credibility remained?
The corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans.
For a show built on strong opinions and social posturing, the hypocrisy had become too obvious to ignore. The controversy had always been part of the draw, but now the backlash outweighed the buzz. The View wasn't trending because it was relevant, it was trending because it got humiliated. And Karoline? She walked away with nothing left to prove. So now, the questions remain. Was this the most brutal takedown in The View's history? Has Whoopi finally exhausted the goodwill of a public that's grown weary of her dismissive arrogance? More importantly, has Karoline Leavitt not only flipped the script, but ended the show's era entirely? Let us know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Into hating our country, hating one another based on race.
This wasn't a debate.
Did Karoline say what needed to be said? Should Whoopi be held accountable? And has The View finally outlived its usefulness as a serious platform for national dialogue? And if you're tired of one-sided media spin and you're here for real, unfiltered commentary, smash that like button and hit subscribe. There's more to come. A lot more.